On the workshop night, Mick decided to turn a three-cornered bowl from a cube. One of our members decided to have a go, so I thought I'd do a little video of how I make it. Now, I'm not saying this is the definitive way, and I'm not an expert, but this is how I've done it before with some success. A few basics then. You really need to start with a cube, and it needs to be equal on all corners. This one's 10.5, written it down somewhere. There we go. 10.5 centimeters. So that's these diagonals, all diagonals. And you'll notice also that I mount mine in the jaws. So in a moment, I'm going to put it into the jaws. And you'll notice that I've marked off the corners. This means that you get a good grip on three sides. I've just marked that for your benefit. So that'll fit into the jaws there, and it's going to go back in exactly the same place because I've marked it with a pencil of where I put it in, and I know that that's going to be okay. And on the opposite side, you can just see there, right on the very point, I made a punch hole so that my tailstock is one of these revolving center. It's, I can't remember what you call it. It's a little pin, it's a ring revolving center. So the little point will go in there. So, and again, you notice that it fits on all the edges equally. Again, safety point of view, and that's how I do it. And I've not had any problems with that. I'll tell you about problems a bit later on that I've experienced. But for the time being, we'll get it mounted. So this is, just, as I said before, I've marked some points on there. So here we go. Take my cube. I'm going to put that back exactly where I know it was mounted before, which I'm quite confident with. It was okay. And when I bring the tailstock up, it will sit in exactly the same place that I left it. Don't ask me how it works, but when you start turning away, you actually lose you lose that point. So we've got 1, 2, 3. In fact, I'll mark those and then you can see what's going to happen. This will be good at the other end. So we've got a point there. We've got a point there. We've got a point there. So that's 3. 1, 2, 3. That's how you turn a cube into a tripod. Is that a good word? I don't know. So I've brought the banjo across with the tool rest on, ready. So make sure you're comfortable, make sure it's all clear and it'll revolve nice and freely. And this is where I'm going to point out the issue I had with, I think, the very first one that I made. And you probably can't see it, but I've got a nice scar on this finger where I nearly took most of the flesh off this corner. What I did was I put my hand underneath to clear out the shavings because it was ghosting and I couldn't see it from underneath, and I took blood all the way from my garage through the garden, through the house, into the kitchen, and in the end I got told off because I made a mess, and when I went to the hospital I'd not dressed it properly. So just beware, keep your fingers out the way. I like to put a tenon on because that gives you a nice firm base. We'll reverse it later on, take the tenon off. So again, be aware of safety all the way. So starting at a nice slow speed, turn to a speed that you're comfortable with. That's the main thing. And always be aware, keep your hands well away. This side of your tool rest. Always be aware of safety. Find your bevel, raise your hand in, and just start to feel the cut. You're going to be turning fresh air for a start. That's a bit slow for me. So I'm going to wind it up. I feel quite happy that it's secure. It's very tight. Tightened everything off. That's all tight. That's all tight. So hand away. And if you're doing it for the first time, just turn your lathe off and take a look at what you're actually doing. Now you'll notice this was a bit wormy. I treated it for wormy, but it should be all right. My chuck will need to be, my tenon will need to be so big. So currently, I don't need to go much further before I can put a tenon on, which gives me maximum material to work with. This nub or leave on, I'm going to cut it off later with a saw. I'm not sure how other people do it. I don't think I've actually ever watched anybody else do it. So let's have a quick check. Oh, still not quite enough room there. If I turn it in, I can start thinking about putting a tenon on it. I don't need a great big tenon. So there, I'm clear on all sides. I'll switch that so you can just see the other side from the back end. Then I can run my saw down there. I'm sure I don't need to show you how to do that. So there's the tenon formed. The next stage now is to give some form up to these points. So we start turning away this material here. So again, I've moved the tool rest around slightly, so I can start removing that material. Next step is to turn away lots of this material. So this point's going, this point's going, this point's going, and hopefully we're going to leave these points, and then we'll hollow out this part. Anyway, it'll become really obvious when we get there. So here we go. So I'm going to do some little pull cuts here. So again, arms well away. We'll look at the overhead view so we can see it's finding the edge. You can nearly see the ghosting. I'll put a little light on down there that shouldn't be too obstructive, and then you'll be able to see the ghosting. What I'll do, I'll stop there, and now you can see the shape forming. So these points are going to disappear. These 3 points will disappear. These 3 points will remain. I'll speed some of this up, but I'll stop at regular intervals so you can see the progress. Stop at intervals to get the shape, see the shape that you're developing. So get on really well. So I've now reached the point there, but I've still got some flats here which I want to get rid of. So I'm quite pleased with that. Still a bit wormy, but that'll be all right. Want just a light sand in, right slowly. Be careful, do it from the bottom. Run through some grits. Happy with that? We'll soon see if we're happy with that. Oh yeah, very good. A few cracks and dents in it, but it was just a piece of rough wood that I found. So next thing, we're going to take that off with a little pull saw. So I'll release a little bit of the tension. And it's through, and that's lovely. So now with that still in place, in the marks, I'm where I left it. I'm going to bring the tailstock back up. So I'm going to mark that center point again, so that I know when I'm going to return it, when I'm going to, there we go. I know that when I reverse chuck it to take this off, that it's going to run true. I hope. So we'll just see what happens now. So I'm going to take the take this off, put my little one on, take the tailstock back out. I don't really remember. I did this last time, so I think I might just turn the end off here, put a center on it, and use a Forstner bit to drill some out just to save some time. According to this sort of turn into this sort of thickness, hopefully. And remember, we're still turning fresh air, because this is all going to be fresh air. And even when we get inside, once we get down here, this is all going to still be flying free. So just be really aware. So hands behind tool rest at all times. As I learnt my own pain. So I'm up to about 1,000 to see how it runs. So I just find the bevel. I like to rub the bevel back. I don't know if it's the right way. I feel confident getting back and then pushing it in very slightly to find the cut. So I ride it out and then back in. Right, now we see, we go to the overhead view. We see we turn in here, we turn in, and we're not getting to solid wood now till we turn in here. So we've got lots of fresh air. So just need to be aware of that. Just check the wings. They're all about the same thickness at this minute. So hopefully I got the cube right in the first place. But just bear in mind now, we're turning lots of fresh air still. Come there. You can see that then. See where I want to turn to, or slightly smaller than that. Put that light on there for you so you can just see where I'm going inside. Take an extra special care with hands. So the lathe going fast and I'm going slow. I'm going to clear this way because I don't like it because it's kind of distracting. Pick that view up there. I'll put them and pick the cut up. I just paused there slightly to sharpen my tool. I can go in a little bit more now because as I'm taking material away, I've got more clearance. So my tool, the end of my tool is not too far away from the work. I'm still up about 1200. In fact, I sharpened two tools there, but my muscle memory is this one because this one's slightly shorter than the other one. Oh, that's much nicer now, it's sharp. And I'm not putting any pressure on that at all. I'm just letting the tool do the work. Because I'm getting quite deep in there now, and the bevel I have on my gouge, it tends to want to grab a little bit in the bottom there. I have a lots of people have seen this one. I have this scraper that I've got to the same grind as my gouges, but it's got no flute, so it acts as a scraper, but it doesn't catch. So it's very forgiving when I get in there. See if we can get away with that. So I ride the bevel. It's doing quite nice. I'm still quite fat up here, so I'm going to take a little bit more of that out. Right, that's sounding a bit thin now, so I think I'm quite happy with that. I'll just finish off that last little bit with my scraper. So I'm just going to start a little bit of sanding inside. I've got some 180. So having sanded it, I've just reversed it. I put a tennis ball in there with a piece of anti-slip router mat, just to stop it slicking about, and it's quite sturdy. And if you remember, right at the beginning, when I cut the nibble off the end, I brought the tailstock up while I was still holding it in place to give me a center point. So hopefully if I turn this on, that's not running too badly. Turn it like that so it's got a bit of a raised foot. That might be a nice idea. Let's have a look. So I'm just sanding it through now with all the grits. Oh, a little bit fast. Get carried away. Looking somewhere sensible. And I'm just using the Hampshire Sheen citrus burnishing oil to put a finish on. I'll leave that to soak in. I'll give it a bit of a burnish up. And thanks for bearing with it.